What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another lucky dip, and this one comes from Han Solo in the miscellaneous folder. And in this case, I'm familiar with both artists involved, though I had no idea this was a collaboration. I was very excited to see it in the folder. And that is to say, Midge, and I've messed up saying his last name, even though it's only 3 letters, and it seems like there's only so many ways you can say it, but I think I mispronounce it every time. So I'm just going to call him Midge, which I didn't realize, but I read that his real name is James. And Midge, even though it's spelled like I think it's an insect, which is a funny thing, but I believe it came about because it was just the phonetic reversal of Jim. So I did not know that until recently. Nevertheless, the second frontman of Ultravox, and which I understand Vienna is the tune that sort of propelled them to a much wider audience. I certainly enjoyed hearing that as my introduction to Ultravox. Nevertheless, yeah, we're going to hear him with Mick Karn of Japan. Now, it took me a while to recognize, the different parts of Japan. Like, obviously, David Sylvian's voice stood out to me right away and his charismatic singing. But I have noticed over a number of tunes, over multiple albums, the role that bass plays in their track. And it's a very, often like mood-setting aspect of the tune. It has a funkiness to it in a lot of tracks. And I remember a number of people said that he's sort of a pioneer in the fretless bass. Now, I never went to like formal, musical training or anything like that. I did take a couple music history classes in college, but nevertheless, I do understand the significance of a fretless bass. And again, I do remember people saying that he's one of the people who really, made those a fretless bass performance, notable, or he was a pioneer again. So. Curious to hear what they'll sound like together. I wonder, who else is involved. Presumably, if Mick is playing the bass and Midge is singing, then I wonder who else might be on the track. But nevertheless, let's give it a listen. Oh, and the track is called After a Fashion, which, it's a common expression. It makes me think of like a Pet Shop Boys title where they use expressions that are used in colloquial speech, but often with very specific and intriguing dimensions. But yeah, after a fashion, after a certain amount of time and after, a previously existing archetype or template. So curious to hear what that will mean in this context. Let's find out. This is After a Fashion by Midge Ure. I'm just going to say it wrong in every way possible, and Mick Karn.
Don't speak to me of changing scenes or what you saw in magazines that what's to change. Follow every move.
Sounds like he's singing like Sylvian.
Sympathy, and if you saw what others see through different eyes, you might say something true.
It's a bit funky, it's got a wickedness to it. What do you think? does sound like Midge was singing in a David Sylvian-esque style. So it felt like a Japan track with a slightly different voice at the helm. And it, I said it in advance, like, oh, who else might be on the track? But it occurs to me, that might not be a tune they perform live, and in that case, it could be Mick Karn on both, bass and guitar. Or, I wonder, does Midge play guitar? I know he's the vocalist of Ultravox, but I do wonder if he also plays instruments. So, yeah, there might just be the two of them performing there, but I'm not sure. So, either way, a cool tune. I don't know what it's about, but it had a funkiness to it. It had a bit of a theatrical menace, sort of like a villainous feel, but not in a truly like intense or like violent or threatening way. But it had this sort of dramatic appearance of a slightly menacing or villainous character type of feel. And I do love the sections with the violin, which in conjunction with that syncopated percussive groove had this really stark and sort of austere feeling. So yeah, cool tune. Shout out to Han Solo again for making a whole arrangement of music available, including this miscellaneous folder, which I did not tap into for a while. So, and again, everybody else who has contributed to the Lucky Dips, like Izzy and Philip, your Lucky Dips are coming, I promise. Just trying to get through everything, and I feel like you folks are perhaps as sympathetic as any to that, so I do appreciate the patience, but I promise that in the next couple days I'm going to try to get around to all of the Lucky Dips, including Adam as well. I've been sleeping on one of his recommendations for a little bit, so again, shout out to everyone for not only the music but also the patience. Do let me know what you think, and Luca, the completely oblivious cat, and I will see you next time. Peace.